So I have actually finished one of the pockets, and it's a pocket. It's very exciting. So I finished one of them, and I want to show how I did it in case anyone else wants to try making a double knit pocket, because obviously at some point you have to stop the double knitting and go back to single knitting. So I'm approaching the pocket on the other side. I'm gonna take my stitch marker out because I don't really need it anymore. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna do the last garter ridge across the front, which means I'm gonna bring the yarn to the front and purl across the front stitches and slip the back stitches. So I'm doing the final garter ridge. And then once I get to the end, I'm gonna try to pick up a few stitches from the corner to do an I-cord bind off and also separate the two layers. And if I talk while I do this, I kind of mess up. Okay, here we go. Oops, I only caught one ply, there we go. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to separate the two layers. The lighting is not as good today, so come into focus, please. No. All right, so I am using the working needle to pick up the back stitches, and I'm using a needle one size bigger to pick up the front stitches because I'm gonna do an I-cord bind off and I don't want it to be too tight. So I'm gonna put the first back stitch on the working needle, the first front stitch on the working needle, second back stitch. Oops, it's a little fiddly at first. First one, there we go. So I'm just taking one from the front, one from the back, and separating them. And so we should see the pocket start to just open up in a second. And hopefully I didn't combine the layers or snag anything, and it will open up. It did on the other side. The other thing that you might notice, except that it's not very well in focus, is that I did the very final row on the wrong side. I did the back stitches in garter rib pattern so that they would be ready to just become garter rib, since those actually are going to be joined to the rest of the cardigan and the front is going to be disconnected. Oops, nope, just one of you, please. Oh, front stitch, back stitch, front stitch, back stitch, front stitch, back stitch, front stitch, back stitch, front stitch. Now I have all of the back stitches on the working needle. The front stitches are on this double pointed needle. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach into the leg of this stitch and try to pick up, I'm gonna do basically a knitted cast on just to create 3 stitches that will then turn into the I-cord bind off. Oops. Oh, what am I doing? Here we go. So now I'm going to just do an I-cord bind off, and then these are already ready to be knit across as part of the cardigan. So that's pretty cool. I think you'll be bored if you watch me I-cord bind off, but I will keep recording anyway. All right, so I slide the first stitch from the front onto the needle. I knit 2 together with my I-cord stitches, and then knit across them, slide them back, along with 1 stitch from the front, knit 2 together, knit, knit, slide them back, along with 1 from the front, knit 2 together, knit, knit, and just, I'm gonna keep going like that, but in the end, it'll look like this pocket. Yay!